So if it wasn't obvious by the big bold letters, we're gonna start fairy tales today. And so the way I thought the best way to start the thing, because I love it, I know you guys love it, is we're gonna play a Kahoot. So if you guys can open up your Chromebooks and get on there. You can make them fun, just appropriate, please. I've never seen that.
It's a secret.
It's okay. My days of actually playing Kahoot are probably behind me anyway. Oh, that's everyone, right? Everyone's in?
Yeah.
Cool. They won't all be that easy, but there are a couple in there.
Yes.
Green. None of you look green to me, but okay. Unless that's the last name. You guys don't have to whisper right now. You're allowed to have fun with this.
No.
Three of the answers were right on that one, so chances are.
What?
Yeah, you've never, it's in the Disney movie. That was an image from the. This image, I actually did pull it from the Disney movie Sleeping Beauty. It's in the. Really?
What is
I never seen it.
Alrighty, last one. Alright. Nice. The last one. Well, good job, guys.
Miss Lynn, can I get any tips or something? I got that one.
Here you go. I got your script prize, so first time left. Great job. Alrighty. Alrighty. So now that we've started thinking about fairy tales, I'm curious to know what some of your guys' favorite fairy tales are.
I like the Christmas one.
Can I get a sorry.
I like the Christmas one.
Nice. Nice.
Me too.
You too? What about you? Beauty and the Beast, that one's my favorite. Yeah, Quentin?
Three Little Pigs.
Nice.
Goldilocks and Three Bears.
Alright, those are all really good ones. So I put a couple up here just to see if I can encompass them. So I have Snow White, Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, I like that.
That one? That is an interesting one, for sure.
Didn't the kids die?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Kind of. Well, no.
They got eaten by
Alright, Little Red, The Little Mermaid, that's another one of my favorites. And Cinderella. Alrighty, so next. I wanna know what you guys think a fairy tale is, and so I'm gonna actually, Quentin, if you wanna come up, I'm gonna have you type up what everyone says. It's meant to be not a punishment. It's meant to be fun. So, you wanna type? Alright. Does someone wanna give just a general definition of what a fairy tale is? No? Did you have your hand raised? Did you have an idea of what?
Oh yeah, it has princesses in it.
Princesses in it? Alright. Yeah. Evil villains? Alright. Yeah.
Fantasy
Fantasy?
with fake characters.
Okay. That's right. Fantasy? Yeah.
Talking animals.
Talking animals, yeah. Anyone over here? Matthew? No? Nothing? Alright, yeah. Nice setting, alright. Yep. Yep.
It has a happy ending.
Happy ending. It was teamwork. Yeah.
It's imaginary.
Imaginary, alright.
Fairy godmothers.
Fairy godmothers. Nice. It's okay. I don't mind the spelling. Anything else that you guys can think of? It's okay to say no. I'm just curious.
No.
list we have though. That's really nice. Alright, thank you, Quentin. I really do think this is a good list, so. Alrighty. So, a fairy tale has all of these things, and within all of these things, there's 5 elements to that fairy tale. And so, the first one is gonna be setting, which is something, who said that? Someone said fancy setting. You, yeah. That's right. Settings usually have to take place in some distant, far-off kingdom, like, you know, they're like far away a long time ago in a far-off land. All that. Very distant, wow. There's usually some kind of element to magic to it. And it must take place in the past, which is why, like, I don't know who said school, but that's why school wouldn't take place. Unless it was like some mystical, crazy classroom setting, like in the movie Onward. I don't know if you've seen that. I would still somewhat consider that a fairy tale in a modern setting, which is a little, not typically seen, but still a fairly good example. Okay, and then there's characters, and the 2 main ones are there's always a good character and a bad character. And they're always gonna have some kind of conflict with each other. Alright, and the problem is that conflict between the bad characters and the good characters. And good does always triumph over evil. I worded it funny in there because I wanted to see if I could get any of you. So, and then there's always an element of magic or disbelief. And it's reoccurring daily in the lives of the characters in the story. And so it's not really considered unusual to the characters, where it might be considered unusual to us as a reader. And finally, I think the most important is the message or the moral of the story. And it's a lesson that fairy tales teach us in life to just be able to get through our days safely. And alright, so how did fairy tales originate? They actually were rooted in folklore in mainly European cultures, and they were a way to teach important lessons, like I said. So the example that I gave was Little Red Riding Hood, without looking. Does anyone know what lesson Little Red Riding Hood gives? Yeah.
Don't talk to strangers.
Yeah. I do have that one on the board. Let me think of another one for you guys. So what about Hansel and Gretel? What do you think the lesson is in Hansel and Gretel? Yeah?
Don't take stuff from strangers?
Yeah. I'd say that's a pretty good one. Alrighty. And then, as fairy tales originated, they were passed down through oral tradition. Do you guys know what that is? Yeah?
Isn't it like this generation, that generation, that generation?
Yeah, but how do they get, do you know how they get to each generation? How it goes down?
By them telling the story.
Yeah, so it was a lot of like the traditional, like nowadays you go and sit around a campfire and tell ghost stories. It's a lot like that, where it started off as people sitting down, mainly after the children went to bed originally, and just started telling stories, and then it transformed into being able to teach children lessons, stories about how certain things come to be, how you should behave, how you should treat others, things not to do. And then the people who took all that oral tradition and wrote it down to the fairy tales we know mainly today are the Grimm brothers, who are right there. And they're Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm. And they were academics, scholars as academics. They were academics and authors, and they went around to each of these cultures writing down all these different elements. Yeah?
Didn't they have to like change them for movies and stuff because like they used to be like scary?
Yeah, they're very, very scary. Like,
I read it before.
yeah, I very much like the Grimm ones. Like, so for example, Little Mermaid. What do you guys think happens in Little Mermaid?
Oh, wasn't it trying to catch her in like tail or something like that?
I mean, in the one that we all know.
Oh.
It's okay. You're kind of right. Yeah, and how does she do that? Yeah. So like there is that still element. It's just slightly different. So in the original, she gets the witch gift with her legs, but every step she takes on land is like walking on broken glass. And so it's like little things like that that initially were in the original stories that were changed to create the new pop culture stories that most of us know. And that kind of relates to what I said about Cinderella over here. There's actually, I believe, over 500 versions of Cinderella in the modern world just because of different cultures and places telling their own versions of Cinderella, which I think is really cool. And it actually leads me into my next activity. And so you all are already in teams, so we're going to be playing as teams, but I'm going to ask you to close your Chromebooks. Alright, so it is called Guess the Origin. So like I said, most fairy tales originate from European countries. And so I want to see if you guys could guess some of these European countries based on the knowledge that you know about the fairy tale so far. And so the way it's going to work is you're already separated in teams. I'm going to show you a picture of the fairy tale character, and you're going to have to talk really quickly and figure out who the fairy tale character is, and then raise your hands. The first group I see I'm going to call on, and they're going to guess. And if you guess right, you get a point. So I'm actually going to have one person from each table group pull out a piece of paper so that you can keep track of your points. And I'm going to keep a mental note, so like, do one of you guys have a piece of paper that you can read on? You got, oh, it's right there. Sorry, didn't see it. All right. So, yeah.
Can I can't see.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Are you okay? All right, guys. We have a piece of paper out. Printed. So if you guys want to like really quickly come up with a team name, make it a little bit more fun.
No, unborn baby.
All right, do we have team names?
No.
No? Yes? Yes, no? Oh gosh. All right, let's start over here. What's your guys' team name?
You were slow.
Oh. Okay. Our team name is Brianna's Unborn Babies.
Okay.
No, I'm thinking not yet.
Nah, bro, you better leave.
We got ours. You got yours? What's yours?
Ours is Lashana's ponytail.
All right. Can someone spell Lashana for me?
L-E-S-H-N-U.
Sorry, one more time.
S-H.
Oh.
L-E.
Oh. L-E-S-H. That makes sense. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, who else? What's your guys' team name?
Schooled out.
School's out?
No, schooled out. It's SKUBBOUT.
S-K-U-B-T.
Huh?
What, how?
SKUBBOUT.
Okay. Alright. What about you guys?
The French dogs. No. The French dogs. No, I already won. I won the wrong.
I'm gonna go with the French bulldogs for you guys.
No, French dog, not
French
bulldog.
dogs, not bulldogs.
French dog.
How about so are we like thinking bulldogs or
French dog.
just dogs in general?
Yes.
Okay.
I just said. Okay.
And what about you guys? Guys, I can't hear, please. Little Red West? Okay. Alright. So like I said before, the first thing you guys are gonna do is you're gonna figure out who the fairy tale character is. You're gonna raise your hands. I'm gonna call on the first group I see. Don't get too mad at me if you raise your hand and I don't see your hand first. I promise I'm doing my best. And so if you guess the character correct, your team's gonna get a point. And if you guys don't, I'm gonna call on someone else. And if they get it right, I believe they get half a point if I remember correctly. Oh, for full points. Sorry. I wrote this a little bit ago. Alright, and then the next we're gonna try and guess the country's origin. I did try and choose pictures that hinted to the origin, but didn't flat out give it away, so we definitely used a picture of the character as a clue to the origin. And, so if, same thing, you'll raise your hand, first team that gets a call on, will get to do it. And if they get it correctly, they will get 2 points. And if you don't, another team will get to answer for half a point. And then the team with the most points in the end wins. So we will get started then. Alright. Is everyone right? Alrighty. This is the first one. I saw Quentin's hand first.
Isn't that Snow White?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Alright, so you guys got a point, mark it down.
Put that
Oh.
Alrighty, and now what country is Snow White story originated from? Yeah.
Europe.
No, him. It's a specific European country. Do you have an, yeah?
London.
London? No. It is Germany. So you guys got 3 points?
No jokes.
Or 2 points, sorry, because you did get it after the first guess.
No, but she didn't go any closer.
Alrighty, here comes the next one. Yeah,
I don't
nice.
know.
Alright, and does anyone know what country this movie's from? Yeah?
Mexico.
No. Is that a, are you adjusting?
Wait, that's the same pictures of the last time?
Hmm?
That's the same.
No, this is covering up the answer.
Oh,
It is gonna be the same picture every time.
it's, French.
No? Yeah.
New England.
New England? No. I'm gonna, it is, oh wait, it is French. Sorry, that's my bad. You guys get those points.
That's French.
It was French.
That's up top of me.
France. I forgot. So you guys get those points. So if I remember correctly right now, it is 2 to 1 to 1, correct?
Oh, yeah, 1 point.
Yeah, because it was after the initial first guess. You only get full points if you get it right after the first guess. Alright, the next one. Do you have a guess?
Nah, I thought I knew it when I first saw it.
Quentin?
It's Hansel and Gretel.
It is. It's actually,
Put that point down.
I'm a super nerd, so I watch cartoons on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. It's called the Tales of Brother Grimm, Something Horrible and Awful. It's pretty it's a pretty good one. But does anyone know where it originates? Yeah?
Greece.
No. Anyone else have a guess? Yeah.
It's in Germany.
I believe you are correct. Yeah. Alrighty, are you ready for the next one? Alrighty. You can have your hand up like that before I even showed it. Gotta have hands down, it's cheating. Alright. Your hand is up before the picture.
That's not even fair.
Let's go, Steve.
The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're. Anyone having any idea where her story originates?
Is it in?
Yeah. London? No.
No.
Yeah.
Europe.
Yes, but not the answer I'm looking for.
Britain.
Britain? No. Anyone else?
You guys know the answer.
Yeah. No. It's actually Denmark.
I don't know the answer. I literally just said Europe. I said it's in Europe.
All of these except for one are based in Europe. Just so you know. I will not accept Europe as an answer because almost all of them are based in Europe. Alrighty. Are we ready for the next one?
It's not a country.
I saw this one first. Both your hands were up before it is not snowing. Both your hands were up before. I watched it this time and watched my first one because I know that you two would do that. Yeah. Yes. Alright, anyone have a guess as to where she originates? Quentin?
Switzerland.
No. Matthew?
Belgium?
No? Is that a hand?
Is it in French?
It is. Yeah. There's a couple of repeats in here.
We should use our team name as NIP, bro.
Alrighty. Are we ready? Alright. I saw your hand first. Oh no!
I couldn't do that.
That's a little bit right.
Yeah. Alright, and anyone know what country? Did you see it? It's okay, go for it. Yeah.
Born in Italy?
What was that? Oh.
Italy. It's a little Red Riding Hood. Alright. Are we ready for the next one?
Yeah, we only got one.
Alright.
Aladdin, the princess
Yeah.
and the prince.
Anyone know where it's from?
Wait,
India.
No.
Egypt.
It's not.
Austria.
Nope.
Spain.
Anyone else?
Africa?
Nope.
I don't know.
This one's actually, yeah. No. So this one is actually a little bit of a trick. Aladdin actually originated in China. Yeah. It got moved around, and there is another version in a text from, it's called the Arabian Nights, but it's one of over, I believe, 1,000 short stories.
But there's parents in there.
Yeah, I don't know why Disney took it that way, but it is another, this general area of the world is another general area where the story is originated, but it is originally from China. Alright, ready for the next one?
Wait.
Quentin?
Three little pigs.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
No, I'm keeping a close eye on him now, because I didn't.
Every time there's a click, I raise my hand.
Alright, and anyone know where the three little pigs are from? Yeah?
Switzerland.
That's right, if I remember correctly. Oh, no.
England.
Sorry.
England.
England.
I got
Yes.
it right.
No one gets on with that one. Alrighty. Next one. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we are. Anna. Do you know where the story originated?
In France. Poland.
I totally wish I would have. Okay. Full disclosure, I made this for our unit plan that we had to submit before doing this lesson. I haven't looked at them since then, but I think, if I remember correctly, that might be right. Do you have a guess in case it's not right?
Africa.
No.
He racist. He's racist.
Paris? Alright, I think she said Germany.
Only in Germany.
Well, in the original
They
story,
got lions. They got all kinds of stuff. Bro, I remember seeing a lion in there. And then the main character in the villain, bro, he's black. He's darker than dark.
see, and that's just another example of how, like, Disney took the stories and put their own twist on it. Because it is not originally set in New Orleans in that way. Alright, I believe this is the last one.
Got my hand first.
Beauty and the Beast? Yeah. Anyone know where this one's from? Do you actually know? Alright,
Poland.
no. Yep. Yep. Alright, that's the last one. Alright, so that was the last one. So, how many points do you guys have? 3? Alright. What about you guys? 3? 6?
You got 4.
Alright. Do you have 4? Alright. What about you guys? How many points? 6? Alright, how about you guys? Alright. I guess that means I need to come up with a tiebreaker really quick. Since you two both have 6.
Or ask them a question.
I know, I think I'm gonna ask them a question. I gotta think of a good one. Mickey Mouse is the brainchild of Walt Disney. You know what? I like rock, paper, scissors. Let's do rock, paper, scissors. So who's gonna play?
Can we have an arm wrestle?
No. We're gonna stick to rock, paper, scissors. So who wants to do it for this team? Best 2 out of 3, okay? Who's gonna do it?
I'm about to win automatically by forfeit.
Oh! Winners! Nice.
That was my first time playing against her rock, paper, scissors. I can't predict her.
Alright. So I'm curious to see what you guys think of this. Do you guys know why I decided to do this activity with you? No?
It's because you want to be a Princess Kia.
No? But I did have a princess canopy when I was little, so I was halfway there.
Oh, I just put those.
The reason that we
I got a princess canopy. I get to rock that.
excuse me guys. Thank you. So the reason we decided to do this is because the way the origins of the fairy tales do affect the outcome of the fairy tale and how we perceive fairy tales as a whole. So like with Aladdin, you guys perceived it a certain way because you saw it a certain way. Same with the image that I put for the Princess and the Frog. I could have put a traditional image which would have most likely depicted her as a white girl, but I chose to do it through the Disney movie as a way to challenge you guys to think outside of what you see. Alright. I believe that is everything I have for you guys. So I would just like to thank you so much for letting me teach you guys. Turn this off. You don't have to clap, but thank you.